Welcome to this class on basics of sociology. So, as I have told you in the very first class, the objective of this class called Basics of Sociology is to tell you certain important dimensions and concepts in sociology which will be very useful for you when you start fully preparing for sociology. So, sociology basics. In the first class, we discussed about why one should select sociology as the optional. In the second class and third class, we have seen some concepts, basic concepts in sociology. So, in this lecture, we will see concepts connected to family. Okay. So, there are some important terms which you need to know with respect to the topic on family. If you look at the syllabus of sociology, family comes in the 9th unit of paper 1. It comes in the 9th unit of paper 1. And in paper 2, it comes in section B. It comes in section B of paper 2. It comes in unit number 9 of paper 1. Okay. So we all know what is family, because we are all having family. Now, family is the first group which was created by the human beings. It is called as the primary group. The first group in the society is called as family. Initially, it was mother child family. This group consists of only mother and children. Now, who is absent? Father is absent. Why father is absent? Father is absent because there was no concept of sexual exclusivity. No sexual exclusivity, which means there is present freedom of sexuality. There is present freedom of sexuality. So there is no relationship based on exclusivity. Man and women relation is not exclusive. It is not that this man is having an exclusive relation with women and this woman is having exclusive relation with man. So it is sexually free society, which means that there is no restriction on sexual relationship. Everybody will be having access to every other person, sexually speaking. So child is born because of that. Mother of the child is known because it is the mother who delivers the baby. But who fathered the child is not known because there are many male sexual partners for this woman. So paternity or fatherhood cannot be identified. And therefore, it is very clear that mother and baby is known to each other, or the baby, who is the baby or who is the mother of the baby is clearly known. But who is the father of the baby is not known, because multiple sexual partners are there for the women, and therefore the first group is called as a family which is having only mother children group, and this is called as atomic family. Atomic family. Then later on only father came into this family. And why father came into this family? Because sexual restrictions were imposed. Sexual freedom was replaced by sexual exclusivity, that the man is sexually connected to the women, and women cannot have any other man as her partner. So she is tied to this particular man, and there is no other man with whom she will be able to have sexual ties. So man may have multiple wives, but wife will have only one husband. And why it came? It is because of Marxian concept of private property. I don't want to go deep into that because I am reserving this dimension for our class, regular course. Just I am giving you an idea, a fair idea. Okay. So sexual freedom later on was replaced by sexual exclusivity. Women is tied sexually to only one man, and the father of the baby is now known because only one man is there for this woman. The father of the baby is known. So father, mother, children, this family was there. And this family, which consists of father, mother, children, it is called as nuclear family. It is called as nuclear family, otherwise called as elementary family. Now, if there is a family which consists of grandfather, grandmother, father, mother, father's brother, father's brother's wife, father's brother's children, right? Like that, if you have father's another brother's brother 2, this is brother 1. Okay, like that, if it has many people in the family, which has minimum 3 generations, it is called as extended family or joint family. So we can classify family into broadly 2 types. We can classify family broadly into 2 types, which has only 2 generations: father, mother, unmarried children, which has more than or minimum 3 generations, right? Grandparents, parents, grandchildren. So this family is called as nuclear family, and this family is called as joint family. This family is called as joint family. Okay. So there are 2 types of family: nuclear family, joint family. In which society nuclear family will be there? In modern society. Sociologists study modern society. They say in modern society nuclear family is there. In traditional Indian society, joint family was there. Okay. So family is needed for what? family is needed for reproduction. Only through family, children can be produced. If a child is produced outside the family, it is not a legitimate child. It is not approved child. It is unapproved child, abandoned child. Then secondly, economic cooperation. Thirdly, socialization of the children. Socialization means you teach, family teaches culture to the children. Family teaches culture to the children. And fourthly, family is very important for sexual gratification. So only through family setup one can produce children. Only through family setup two adult members of opposite sex can have sexual relationship, and this sexual relationship should be approved sexual relationship. So socially approved sexual relationship, because some sexual relations are sins according to society. Sexual relationships are prohibited. Some category of sexual relationships are prohibited. So if it is prohibited by society, you call it as taboo. What is taboo? Taboo is something which is wrong, and severe punishment will come. For example, incest is taboo. Incest means sexual ties amongst those people who are blood relatives. That is incest. Sexual ties between people who are blood relatives is incest, and incest is taboo, which means incest is prohibited by the society, and all societies will have to have certain norms. That is, the culture will be there which will restrict the sexual relationship. So no society can give a freedom of sexuality, because biologically speaking also, if your society gives more freedom of sexuality, then the children born will be having same genetic material, and there will be defective gene carried on from one generation to another generation. So the species survival will be threatened, and the species carrying the defective genes generations after generations will become extinct. So for survival purpose, for biological purpose, that sexual relationship is regulated by the society. Okay, right? So reproduction, economic cooperation, socialization, sexual gratification is what are the four functions of the family. Now, according to A.R. Radcliffe Brown, according to A.R. or according to G.P. Murdoch, there are two types of family: family of orientation and family of procreation. Family of orientation and family of procreation. This is a family which consists of father, mother, your siblings, right? And this is you, your spouse, and your children. So this is you created this family. So two families, family of orientation and family of procreation. Okay. for procreation. Procreation, for procreation. Procreation means for producing children. Rules of residence becomes important. So where you should stay in the house? In which house you should stay? You should be staying. Rules of residence. If you stay in the father's house, your father's house, it is called as patrilocal residence. Local means residence. If you stay in your mother's house, then it is matrilocal. If you stay in your father's house, it is patrilocal. If you stay in the mother's house, it is called as matrilocal. Patrilocal is otherwise called as virilocal. Matrilocal is otherwise called as uxarilocal. Right? Sometimes you can stay in both houses. Bilocal, both. You can stay in the father's house as well as mother's house. It is called as bilocal. So bilocal means either you can stay in father's house or you can stay in mother's house. It is a choice given to you. That is called as bilocal, right? And there is a residence called as avanku local, AVUN. Avanku local means AVUN. Avanku local means you are staying in the groom's maternal uncle's house. You are staying in groom's maternal uncle's house. And fifth is Amita local. Means groom's paternal aunt. Paternal aunt. So maternal uncle means your mother's brother. Paternal aunt means your father's sister. And you need not stay in any one house. After marriage, you can create your own house. Don't stay in any one of the house. After marriage, you can stay in your own house. So you create your own house called as neo-local. Create your own house. Don't stay in your relative's house. Neither father's house nor mother's house. You create your own house after marriage. It is called as neo-local. So you create your own house. You will be there, your wife will be there. Or you will be there, your spouse will be there. So this is what is called as rules of residence. Okay. Now, we use a concept called as kinship. Kinship refers to relationship based on blood or marriage. It is relationship. Kinship refers to relationship based on blood or marriage. Blood means consanguines. Marriage means affines. Consanguines and affines. So there are two types of relatives you have. One related by blood, another related by marriage. Both are present in your family and both are in the kinship also. So kinship refers to relationship. Either the relationship will come through blood or the relationship will come through marriage. Okay. So we have consanguines and affines. Now it is a term descent which has to be spoken about. Descent means rules or principles that links you with your ancestors, It links you with your ancestors. So you are linking yourself with your ancestors. So there are certain principles every culture is having. So this is a cultural rule. You will trace your ancestry based on a particular rule available in that particular culture. So descent refers to the relation you have with your ancestors. If the descent is a vertical line, then it is lineage. If it is a horizontal line, then it is collaterals. Lineals and collaterals. I'll explain this using a kinship diagram. So this is descent. Okay. Lineals means grandfather, father, son, grandson, great grandson. So you are connecting yourself with your ancestors. These ancestors are who? Real ancestors. They are real ancestors. You can also trace your ancestry based on mythical ancestors. And this, if you trace your ancestry through mythical ancestor, then you call them as clan, otherwise called as gotra. Lineage is real ancestor. It is called as vams. They call in Tamil vamsam. But if you trace your ancestry through mythical ancestor, it is called as clan or gotra. For example, you are believing that you descended from a rishi. That rishi name is called as Bharadwaj. So people say that I belong to Bharadwaj Gotra. Who is Bharadwaj? Bharadwaj is a rishi. Is he real? No, no. It is mythical. It's a fiction. It's an imagination. So you share the descent based on mythical ancestor. You tell that we all come from that rishi called Bharadwaj. So if you come from the same rishi, if you come from the same clan, which is mythical ancestor, you cannot marry each other. Cannot marry. So same Gotra marriages, same Gotra means Sagotra marriages are prohibited. You cannot marry a person belonging to same Gotra. Sagotra means same Gotra. Same Gotra people are imagined as if they are blood relatives, so they cannot marry. So the girl should come from Bharadwaj Gotra, means the boy should come from another Gotra, not from the same Gotra. So you can trace your ancestor based on real people. They are called as lineage or Vamsh. And you can trace your ancestor based on mythical ancestors, and that is called as clan, or it is called as Gotra. Okay, so this is what vertically it is shared, that somebody is above you, somebody is above you. So that is what is vertical. Lineals it is called. I told that there is a word collateral. Collateral means, for example, you and your father is who? Father, son. It is who? Lineal. Okay, collateral means father is having his brother, father's brother. Father's brother is having his son, father's brother's son. So you are sharing some sort of commonality with your father's brother's son. He is called as your cousin. So you are not descending, you are not tracing your descent ancestry from the one who is above you. You just have a relation with the colleague of you, like it is like of same generation. Or even your you and your father's brother also can be called as collateral. It is not directly coming down, no. He is sharing not lineally, horizontally. So he is sharing horizontally. So you are also sharing horizontally with your father's brother's son. Similarly, your brother is also a who? Linear or collateral? Brother is your companion, no. He is your contemporary. He is not belonging to some other generation. So same generation people means collateral. Different generational people means lineal. So lineals and collaterals. Just technically you need to know, because this is not going to be asked in your UPSC sociology, but you should be aware of the terms. Okay. So lineal and collateral. Descent is of two types. One is unilineal descent. Why descent is very important? Because you inherit the property, the family name from your ancestors. So for inheritance purpose, you need to know what? Descent. Because you got the property from your father. Your father got the property from his father. He got property from his father. So you should know from whom we have come, because then only we will be able to understand from whom we will be able to get the property. So for inheritance related questions, the answer comes from descent rules. Unilineal and non-unilineal. Unilineal, non-unilineal. Unilineal means, uni means singular, lineal means line. So you trace from the father's line. It is called as patrilineal. You trace from your mother's side, it is called as matrilineal, and this is bilineal from both bilateral. Bilineal means from father's side one type of property, that is say non-material or non-movable property like house. From mother side another type of property you will get, that is say movable property. From father side you are getting house, from mother side you are getting say gold and jewelry. So you are getting from both but not same type of property. So this is called as asymmetrical inheritance. From father side you get one type of property like house, from mother side you get another type of property called jewel, gold jewel. So it is asymmetrical, one kind from father side, another different kind from mother side. So from both you are getting, which is why it is called bi. Lineal means it is asymmetrically you are getting from father side one type of property, from mother side another type of property. When you go to bilateral, symmetrically you are getting, symmetrically you are getting whatever you are getting from father side, the same thing you will get from mother side. So from father side you will get house means from mother side also you will get house. From father side you will get gold jewel means from mother side also you will get gold jewelry, which means that there is no difference between father side and mother side. From both sides you will inherit the property equally. Then this is what is called as bilateral or cognatic descent system. Cognatic, cognatic, cognatic or bilateral descent system. Cognatic or bilateral descent system. Okay. But more than 90% of the societies are patriarchal, patrilocal, patrilineal. More than 90% of the societies are patriarchal. Archal means authority, power. Father is the authority, male of the family is the authority. Local means you reside in the house of the father. Lineal means you take property from your father's side. Right? So this is about descent system. Then we have kinship terms. There are two types of terms. One is classificatory, another is descriptive. One is classificatory, another is descriptive. So who divided this into two types? Morgan. L.H. Morgan divided it into two types. If you go to South India, same term you use for father side relative and mother side relative. You use the same term for father side relative and mother side relative. I'll give you an example. In Tamil, father's brother is called as Chittappa. Mother's sister's husband is also called as Chittappa. Depends. If he is of younger age compared to your father, he is called Chittappa. If he is older than your father, he is called as Periyappa. Periya means older than your father. Chitappa means younger than your father. So same term, father side relative is Chitappa, mother side relative is also Chitappa. This is called as classificatory kinship system. Descriptive means exact relation of the speaker with the person. Is described. Exact relationship is described. You are the speaker. What relation exactly you have with the person to whom you are referring, that relationship is very described. Exact relationship is described. So if you say Chitappa, here in this case, you will not be able to tell whether this Chitappa, I simply tell my Chitappa is coming to my home. You will not be able to understand whether that Chitappa is my father's brother or my mother's sister's husband. So same term is given, no. So there is no difference between father side relative, mother side relative. But in this case, father side relative and mother side relative are totally different. You use a different kinship terms for your father side relative. You use different kinship terms for your mother side relative. I'll give you an example. Father's father is called as Dada. Mother's father is called as Nana. But if you go to South India, here both are called as Tata. Father's father is also Tata. Mother's father is also Tata. But if you go to North India, you follow this descriptive kinship system. If you come to South India, you follow the classificatory kinship system. Okay. Another interesting term I'll tell you now. You have two types of relations. With people, joking relationship, avoidance relationship. Joking relation. For example, in South India, you will have joking relation with your wife's younger sister. But if you come to South again, you will have avoidance relationship with your brother's, elder brother's wife. So freely you cannot talk to them. Here freely you can crack jokes. The purpose is people who are having joking relationship, they can marry. People who have avoidance relationship cannot marry. They can't marry. Very interestingly, S.C. Roy, an anthropologist, he studied a tribal society called as Oran. Right? And Verrier Yelvin, he studied a tribal society called as Baiga. In case of Orans, the grandfather will have joking relation with granddaughter. And in Baiga, the grandmother will have joking relation with grandson. You know, it is very, very surprising that in case of Warrens, grandfather and granddaughter have joking relationship because they can marry. And in case of Baiga, grandmother and grandson has joking relationship because they also can marry. Look at this. Who can be married, who cannot be married is based on culture. If you go to Warren society, you will be shocked to see that granddaughter will marry grandfather. If you come to the Baiga society, you will be even more surprised and shocked to the core that grandmother will marry the grandson. So marriage, kinship and all are based on the cultural rules. It depends on the culture of the society. If you go to one society, you will find one type of culture. If you come to another society, you see another type of culture connected to family. For example, if you go to South India, you will find that cross cousins can marry each other. If you go to North India, cross cousins cannot marry. So there are two types of cousins you have. One is cross cousins, another is parallel cousin. Cross cousin means your father's sister's son, your mother's brother's son. If you are a girl, son or daughter. So your father's sister's son, your mother's brother's son, they are called as cross cousin. Parallel cousin, your father's brother's son or daughter, your mother's sister's son or daughter, father's brother son or daughter, mother's sister's son or daughter, they are called as parallel cousin. They cannot marry in south as well as north, but here they can marry in south, cannot marry in north. So it depends. India has multiple cultures. So based on that cultures, marriage rules are clearly specified. Okay. So these are some of the terms which we should be familiar with when we read the topic called as family. See you in the next class. We will teach some important concepts in the other topics like social stratification in the next class. Thank you.